Ryan Westbrook is back with us now, but Brandon, I want to start with you. How does the Cowboys offense change with Andy Dalton under center?
The only thing that changes is the big plays, right? Like, we saw Dak, like, this thread in the needle. There was one play that stood out to me where I was like, man, this guy's playing lights out, and he has an amazing arm. And that's that play where it was, you had Amari Cooper on a post. He took the middle, and Dak threw it between two defenders. It could have easily gone the other way. So you won't see plays like this. You won't see Andy Dalton threading the needle, you know, play after play after play. You're not going to have to change the playbook. It's not like you have a mobile quarterback, well, a running quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, where you take him out and then you have a Flacco sitting there on the bench, and now you have to reinvent your offense. So the playbook will stay the same. We're just not going to see the big plays. And as far as the wide receivers, you know, there's a lot of trust. There's a lot of chemistry that he has to build there, because once the season starts, you don't take reps with the backup quarterback. When the number one receiver stands up there, whether it's Cooper, Lamb, and Gallup, the number one quarterback stands there like, that's my guy, I'm throwing it to him. So they have a lot of work to do to get on the same page.
You know, Brandon, I think you're right. I wouldn't change the offense very much at all. But the reason why you bring in a veteran quarterback like Andy Dalton, who's been there and done that before, is because you don't want to have to change the offense. You don't want to put your offense in a situation where now we have a new quarterback and we all got to learn different things and do something totally different. This is what I would do if I was there being the offensive coordinator, though. I would want to run the ball a little bit more. It's going to help your offense get some continuity, some rhythm, especially with the quarterback that hasn't played in a very long time at all this season, hasn't played with these guys. But it also will help your defense just a little bit. Get them off the field, allow them to rest just a bit, because every time they touch the field, they're getting torched. I want to run the ball a little bit with Zeke, but I still want to get the ball out to those playmakers that we have on the outside. They're just too skilled to not get the ball to those guys, Cooper and Gallup, as well as CeeDee Lamb. Make sure that they touch it, but I want to run the ball with Zeke just to help the team win. Not because we need to win, not because we need to run, but it's going to help that defense an awful lot if you do that, Nick.
Hey, Nick, let me jump in here. I think we were all thrown for a loop a little bit with this Dallas Cowboys team. Coming in, there was talks of Super Bowls. I mean, this team was just stacked with talent. Then we sort of downgraded the bar a little bit and said, could they make the playoffs? And then they go and they lose Dak Prescott. Now you got Andy Dalton. What is considered, and you know that the division they play in is weaker than any other division. What is considered a successful season now with Andy Dalton under center? There
is no successful season. This is a season from hell for the Cowboys, and the only thing that has the only saving grace is they're in. Wild says the Chiefs played the JV Patriots. They are in the Division II division. They are, you know, they're playing FCS schools to win their division, and so because of that. Okay,
I went to Villanova. Watch it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot Villanova's in the house. Villanova's in the house. My bad, Brian. I apologize.
Yeah.
I apologize. It's right behind you. It's staring right at me. I know. My bad.
Right?
And so if they were in literally any of these 7 other divisions, we'd say the season's over. They have a bad defense and a backup quarterback, and they have struggled their way to the 2 wins they have. One win came after a crazy comeback against a winless team, including an onside kick, and the other win came against what might be the worst team in New York, and the Jets play in New York. So that's who their wins have come against. So this is, I think Cowboys fans, Brandon, are going to convince themselves, oh, he's fighting our way to 500. Getting in the playoffs is a success. No, it's not. And it's not just because Dak got hurt. It's because the defense was that bad, and I don't think a defense can go from that bad to championship caliber over the course of a season. And that is, I know I picked them to go to the Super Bowl, so I look like the idiot. But I'm not. I was the only one on this show, but I was far from the only person out there, in the media and prognostications to say this Cowboys team has the talent to be a Super Bowl contender, and that ship sailed long before Dak Prescott broke his ankle, Brandon.
Huh. Yeah, Nick, I mean, there's a lot of validity behind what you said. Like, us outsiders, looking in, we would assume that. We would think that, these guys are just like, it's over. We believe it's over. I think we know it's over. They have no chance because of their defense. And there's a huge question mark around, can Andy Dalton get it done? But the reality is this, and Brian, you know this. As a player, all we want is a chance. We want a chance to be able to make a play. We want a chance to be able to help the team. We also want a chance to make it to the playoffs. So when we walk in and we're not eliminated, we're still fighting. We're still scratching. We're still clawing. We don't care how we get in. We just want to get in. We know it's hard to win a game in the National Football League. So for these guys to be looking at this division and seeing that we're still in it, we can easily win this division. Oh, you best believe that they're going to be doing everything they can to get wins and stack them back to back to back, because every team has the same goals outside of a few little things here. Like, we want to lead the league in third down conversions. We want to be top 5 in red zone offense or defense, et cetera, et cetera. What we say every single year is win a division. Win a division, and then once you get in, then there's goals like we want home field advantage. And then there's go win the Super Bowl. So they can still win a division. This is a real thing, Kevin.
Hey, how good is Andy Dalton? We know that he went 50-26. And then he flipped it around. He said, let me see what losing will be like. And then he went 20-34. So we've seen both sides of the coins. He was 11-5 for a while. Then he had some bad seasons. And the next thing you know, Joe Burrow's there. But so, Brian, when I look around the NFL, he's going to be 33. He's not washed. And I look around the NFL and say, like, Andy Dalton's a lot better than a lot of these quarterbacks. So the idea that the season is just a loss, if they can straighten out their defense, and Nick thinks that they can't, but if Mike Nolan is the genius that everybody says he is, you make a few defensive adjustments, all of a sudden you win your division, all of a sudden, like, you're in the playoffs, you start to get a little bit dangerous. So I'm actually like, I guess I think the Cowboys are going to be not as good as they were with Dak, but I'm not even close to being willing to give up the Cowboys ship.
Well, I don't want to give up on the entire season because Dak isn't there, but the expectation was with Dak, to Nick's point, is that we're a Super Bowl team. We're at least a couple games into the playoffs, that ability to play and that good of a season. When you talk about this defense, not even just Andy Dalton, when you talk about this defense, they're still good enough to win the NFC East and lose in the first round of the playoffs. Andy Dalton can come in and be a serviceable bet. He has good players around him. I don't expect this big drop-off on the offense. The issue here, to everyone's point, is the defense has been bad. If this defense can be halfway decent, maybe they win the first round of the playoffs. Maybe they get a chance in the second round. But if this defense continues to play like they're playing, they're good enough to win the NFC East, but certainly lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, so a couple things. I want to be clear here. I do believe the Cowboys will win the NFC East and end up being like the 20th best team in football, because the other teams in the NFC East are going to be in the bottom 7 or 8 teams in the league. But Wilds, I don't think Dalton is terrible, but you know who you have more faith in Andy Dalton than Andy Dalton has in Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton was a free agent. He was a free agent. He could have gone anywhere. He went to play for a team whose quarterback had never missed a game, only missed 2 snaps, because it's close to his hometown in Katy, Texas, about a 3-hour drive. He's like, I already own property down there. I like it down there. I can be a mentor. Andy Dalton wasn't like, you know what? I'm going to revisit the 2014 me. He's like, no. I'm in the backup phase of my career. It's been a good run. I've enjoyed it, made a lot of money. We'll see if I play a few games. And Wilds is out here. Andy Dalton's watching the show like, damn, I underestimated myself. No, he estimated himself properly, and which is why he went to go sign for the Cowboys, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.